Hello, everybody. How you all doing? Larry and Al, Search for Truth here, number 10. We got our matching shirts. We're looking pretty good. We got the part. So I want to start off today with a couple of quotes from some, let's say, giants in our world. This one goes, "You can do what I cannot do. I can do what you cannot do. But together we can do great things." That's Mother Teresa.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
And then because we constantly we talk about education as important foundation of our relationship and truth in education. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And that's Nelson Mandela.
wow.
Nelson Mandela. So last time we were talking about sports, um, and we had some good discussion on the nature of sports and in our world. So let's just kind of start off on kind of light. So what do you think? We got the four teams left in the NFL. What's your take on those
Wow.
four teams and where they're at and where it might go from here, leading into the big one?
I think this has probably been the most diverse Final Four in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You got San Francisco, who is a perennial power
Yeah.
in there, and you got Kansas City, who has been a perennial power in there, and you got Baltimore, who's on the level just below, but just kind of coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did. And then you got Detroit, who has finally found the formula to have a strong team,
Mm-hmm.
and good coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I, it's a toss up to me. It's a toss up because we uh, uh, Green Bay almost did it.
Yeah.
Okay, San Francisco's going to have to be really, really strong against Detroit because Detroit's going to score,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be. I think defense is going to be strong. Uh, but I go back to, I go all the way back to when you ever heard of Autogram?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, back in the day when Autogram was in that league, he was the Tom Brady of his time.
Right.
He was the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They would win every year, but it's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's gonna be good football watching.
Yeah.
I would the way things are set up. I think it's going to be either San Francisco or Kansas City. Okay, but it could be the other way around
Mm-hmm.
because because Lamar Jackson is tough and Jared Goff is finally in a situation where he's uncomfortable with his offense and he could do an upset.
It was a good landing for Goff
Oh
to
yes,
go
it
to
was.
Detroit. It was a good place for him to go.
Yeah.
And
I watched him. I watched him when he played up at Cal.
yeah.
Yeah, and he went to L.A. and I think the nature of the sport is that when you're in a big market thing and they went to the Super Bowl, but he just didn't pull the punch.
Were they missing some pieces?
Well,
That was New England. They lost to New England in
he
a
lost to New
low
England.
scoring game. I
It was
remember
low,
that.
yeah, but New England baffled them, or whatever they did, and then they went that far. Then they got rid of him, and they brought in the other guy, which who's been he's a good he's a great quarterback. Okay, he before in Detroit, he was carrying the show, and then he came to L.A. and He's got some complementary pieces and
Yeah,
everything like that.
right. Yeah, it was good for him to come there,
Yeah,
and
it was a good
he
switch. It
he,
was a
he
good
got his
switch.
well deserved ring, and
Oh yeah.
that's all important. So there's been some talk about uh, Patrick Mahomes may be challenging Brady for the goat.
Oh
What's your
well,
talk? What's your thought on
he's
that?
too. He's how long has he been in the league? 5, 6 years.
Yeah,
Okay, Brady's been in the league for what? Was in the league for what?
20, right?
20, almost 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and he played at a high level, and he was in a good system, and
Hmm.
he played it. I mean, he went to the Super Bowl. Think about that, 10 times, and he won seven.
Yeah.
So I mean, he hasn't got Patrick Mahomes is going on his 6th year as a starter, and this is his 6 years of going to the championship game.
Hmm.
Now, if he wins this game, it'll be his 4th year going to the Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
he's been in the Super Bowl 3 times and he's won two. So it's a long, long journey. And
Yeah.
it's how do you how does that conversation even come up until after you finish your career?
Well, I think that's the nature of the sports
Mm-hmm.
world, the sports talk world. There
Well,
always has to be the controversy or the
like you talk about Michael Jordan, or they're gonna say um, uh, LeBron James is a goat. The best, I mean, this is from my perspective. The best basketball players that I saw play basketball: Elgin Baylor,
hmm
Bill Russell.
hmm
Okay, the other guy, who's the 7 foot guy? What's his name? Uh, he he played for the Globetrotters, and then he
Oh,
played
Will Chamberlain.
Will Chamberlain. But Bill Russell was way better than Will Chamberlain because
Hmm.
he's a winner. He won.
What made the difference? Because I mean, physically,
Okay,
Will
it
Chamberlain
was,
was a
yeah,
bigger,
but
stronger guy, I
I
suppose.
have to give my homeboy from my alumnus from McClimon's High School, Oakland. Okay, but he was a winner. In college. Okay, he was a winner in high school. He was a winner in college, and he was a winner in the pros. They won 11 championships in a row.
Hmm.
I mean, even though the NBA was not as large as it is now, but it was he played against some greats. Okay,
Hmm. Yeah.
but when you start talking about the goat, you wait until they finish their career
Yeah.
and see what LeBron James is he's deserving of the conversation because he has been he came out of high school and he's been a magnificent basketball player.
Hmm.
Okay,
How many years for him now?
he's 22, he's 21 years.
21 years. Yeah.
He came out, yeah.
So let's go back to the what you said about winner. He was a winner. So what's the truth about being a winner? How do
Well,
you be a winner
well,
consistently?
the high school that I came from, it's called McClimon's High School, and I talk about you know I told you about all the people that came from that school, which was about when we were about when I was there, it was only about 1,300. But you had Bill Russell, Jim Hadnot, Paul Silas, Aaron Pointer, who was an NFL official. You got Joe Ellis played for the Warriors. Wendell Hayes played football for the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, but I mean, just think about that faction of professional great players that
Hmm.
made it to out of high school. We were city champs in basketball for all my career there, and it's only like I said, it's only our enrollment was like 1,100, 1,200 students. We were called the School of Champions. Our principal, his name was Elwood V. Hess. He was about 5'5", but the things that he taught, it's just like, for example, you remember the little things that I told you about my life and how I dealt with the students that we dealt with.
Right.
Well, I used to wear my shirt on the outside, and back in the day, when I was in high school, and I got sent to the principal's office, and vice principal sent me to the office and said, "You can't wear." I said, "Why can't I wear?" He said, "Well, you can't." So Doc Hess, his name was Doc Hess. He says, "Well, come up to my place." He lived on Broadway Terrace in Oakland, come up to my place. I have something for you to do. I said, "Okay." So he had me move some fertilizer around and stuff like that. He gave me $20. I went and bought me a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
These are the kind of examples of how do you help students? Just like we were talking about the books you gave to the kids. So yeah, by example, and that stuck with me all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, when a kid comes up to when a kid comes up to a situation when he says, "Well, I can't do this because I don't have this. I don't have." Remember when we used to do the interviews with the kids with the shirt and ties
Yeah.
and stuff like that,
Right.
and the kids say, "Well, I don't have a shirt and I don't have a tie."
Mm-hmm.
So what did we do? We brought in shirts and ties.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay, so that's part of the processing, and you're building self esteem down at the bottom and bringing it on up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because if you don't feel good if you don't feel good about yourself, how are you going to go forward?
I was thinking about what you're saying about being a winner. It's beyond the athletic prowess.
Right.
There's something else that takes place for someone to be a consistent winner, like you say, on the sports field. I mean, there's winners every year: a World Series champ, a Super Bowl champ, an NBA champ, an NHL, whatever sport. But there's those that consistently
Why do
win.
you think the Yankees were so tough back in the day? They had winners on their team.
Mhm.
You got guys that competed. Yogi Berra,
Right,
okay. The funny thing about it is, it was not always the big guy that
right,
won the game.
right.
It was not always the big guy that won the game.
Yeah,
It was the guy that was all of a sudden the guy they would bring up somebody from the minors or something like that, or somebody that hadn't been playing all year long. Next
right.
thing you know, bim bam boom, there he
He
goes.
hit the walk off home
Hit
run.
the
The
walk
guy that
off
hit
home
three
run.
all year hits
Okay,
the
and
one in the World Series and wins it.
it makes the play. It
Yeah,
makes the important play.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Interesting.
okay, but it's the environment. It's the environment that happens that creates the winner attitude.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
that's what I think.
So, like, if you were talking about your team, your team at your school, for example,
Hmm.
your educational team, there were some programs, some schools that were more successful than others. And what was the difference there? Was it the leadership? Was it the administration?
You talking
Or
about in high school?
well, just in general, our experience, in
Okay.
various programs.
The year that I first played organized football was my junior year at McClymonds, and we had everybody. Dale Ruman was the quarterback. He went on to go to Cal, and then he went down to Stanford, and he ended up being a lawyer. And then we had those guys, James Norwood, and we had all the guys that had been playing when the football was not good. Everything all came together, and we won the city championship.
Hmm.
That year we were 7-1, and the only team that beat us was Monterey. And the guy, you ever heard of Charlie Haraway?
The
Played
name? Oh yeah,
played for the
Washington, right?
Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
Well, he played fullback at Monterey,
Okay.
and I punted the ball, and the guy named Charlie Hertel, James, I don't know, but anyway, he punted the ball. I punted the ball, and he ran the ball back 87 yards. They beat us 14-7.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but it was my first experience being, I was the only 11th grader that was playing varsity football.
Mhm.
And the 12th graders, these guys were leaders. They would call on Thursday night, and said, "Are you in the bed? Are you getting
Mhm.
ready to go to bed? Blah blah blah. Do you have your equipment ready to go?" I said,
Mhm.
"Yes." Well, okay, we did that. My senior year, we didn't do as well as we should have done, but we didn't have that senior group. Yeah, I was the only one that they came back, and the rest of the guys were coming up from JVs. Well, that's that's what I learned. But in basketball, it was always guys that were playing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I went to Cal Poly, they were on the losing streak. There was the national losing streak
Mm-hmm.
when I got to Cal Poly. And then when I went to Santa Ana College, we came in third. We were third in the nation. We got this is what happened that year. We got we lost to two. We lost two games. We lost to San Diego City, who beat Fullerton and stopped their winning streak, and Fullerton beat us.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was I think San Diego City, Fullerton, and we were third in the nation at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's who is in the group, who are the people that everybody looks up to,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the winning people,
Mm-hmm.
people that want to win. And a lot of the guys came from Santa Ana Valley, and at that time, and Santa Ana Valley was always strong.
Yeah.
So then you got a couple of guys from Modern Day. I remember the coach from Modern Day. I remember I first met him when we doing throwing the ball just before football practice start, and he ended up going up to SC. Then he didn't make it up there. He came in back and started coaching at
Who was that?
the coach at what was his name?
Rollinson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Rawson. And he had what was the brothers there? The Morgan brothers, the
Mm-hmm.
Morgan twins. One went there and one went up to SC, and who was that? That was the same year Randy Vahad
Uh-huh.
played Golden West.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. So,
Right. Well, I was thinking they talk about a winning culture.
hmm
What does a winning culture look like?
Well, just what I was talking about, just the idea that the seniors that at the time when the year we won the championship, they were they were holding everybody accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you did Thursday. We played on Saturday afternoon, Friday afternoons, and they would say, "Do you have your uniform? I mean, you take your shoes on, shine them up. You in you in bed by now, that kind of thing." But they're the ones who does the the parameters. I mean, I was captain. I was captain. I think it was my senior year. I was captain. I was tri captain, and you had to do things by example. You get to practice on. You get to practice early. You work with the guys that need help and stuff like that. But you have to be accountable by what you do. So that if you want to hold everybody else accountable, you can. Okay, and try to help folks out along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But also you have to have a coach that is understanding of what's going on.
So that's part of the winning culture is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
coach, a leader,
A leader, a
right?
leader.
That's
Okay, and he delegates that leadership to the athletes and let them uh, control.
well. I was thinking about when I asked a question about the winning culture. So let's go back a number of years, quite a few years, and we'll talk about the old Green Bay Packers, Titletown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they had Vince Lombardi, okay, as their coach,
Right,
famous, infamous, if you will, and they won so many titles in a short period of time, and then they won the first Super Bowl, two
right,
Super
yeah,
Bowls.
yeah.
But then Lombardi left,
Mm-hmm.
and they disappeared for a number of years. So was he the constant in that, or was it just time and those players
I,
got old and they went and replace them, or what happened there?
okay, where did he when he left? Where did he go? Washington.
Washington. Yeah.
What did Washington do when he was there?
I think he turned them around
Turn
for,
him
but he
around.
wasn't there a long time. He
Okay.
got ill and died, passed away.
Okay.
But
But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, no. Go ahead. You're talking about the culture,
I was
okay?
talking about is the coach the
The catalyst.
the callous there. Right.
Okay. Well, he had. this was the line. It's like my way or the highway.
Right.
And if you wanted to be on the team, this is what you had to be able to do.
Hmm.
Okay. And if you didn't want to be on the team, then you were gone over here.
And that's changed, huh?
What do you?
I mean, are there coaches that still coach that way that are
Well, what
successful?
do they? You think about Alabama. You think about Georgia. You think about Clemson. Uh, uh, what is their attitude? You know,
Hmm.
they're going to put the best guy out there. Okay, they got to win. They have to win. And so, what are they going to do? I mean, you think about what they, the deal with back in the day when Jalen Hurts couldn't produce. He brought him all the way there, but he couldn't produce it. So what they brought in too,
Hmm.
and he produced, and then Jalen Hurts had to go behind.
Yeah.
Okay, uh, 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 it's like in the old days. What have you done for me lately?
All right. That's pretty much
Yeah, yeah.
the truth, right? About the world in general.
Today it has to be what have you done for me? Like the guy from Philadelphia. Last year he was in the Super Bowl. He won 11 games, 11 and 5, and then they broke down, and he's on the hot seat. The guy from the Giants is 6-11. He's he's on the cool seat.
Yeah. What is that? What is that? Why is that? How's that make sense?
Expectation,
Okay. Oh, okay.
expectation.
All right.
Okay, if you have great expectation and you can't reach it, okay, and what happens? And this is what usually happens is that when they can't make it to the show, guess what happens? The people that helped them make it to the show go and get two of the people that was coaching them last year ended up being head coaches this year somewhere else, and so it shows you how integral those voices are inside that environment.
So it is the team collection of the coaches
Oh
that
yeah,
make
yeah,
a
yeah,
difference. It's not
yeah.
just the head coach.
Not just the
It's
head,
who they surround themselves with. It's who.
the coordinators who are the ones that are coaching the people.
Hmm.
The coach is like the CEO.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay.
What's the difference between a head football coach and a manager of a major league baseball team? Because they're called something different. Are they different?
The manager of the baseball team has more input into what's going on with the athlete. The head coach is dealing with he has the on field and stuff like that, but he doesn't have say on who comes and goes.
Really?
You got what I'm saying?
Okay.
That is left up to the what's the guy called,
General manager.
the general manager. Okay,
But you don't hear that a lot. You do you know the head coach, maybe just as a sidebar you talk about the general manager, but the general manager is the one that's bringing the players in
right, right,
and
right,
and,
right.
and getting the right players there.
Why the Warriors they went on that run and they brought in a good coach
Yeah.
and the general managers listened to what he was talking about and how he wanted to go by doing stuff, and they backed him up.
Now
And
that team has fallen off too, and,
well,
and it's the same coach. So
yeah, because they're not bringing in the kind of players that they brought in before with the kind of buy-in that they had before.
right.
Okay, when you have a team, when you have a successful football team, okay, you have to bring in the kind of people that will buy in because you're thinking about professional sports. A lot of these guys are getting a big payday, and they want to keep on getting a big payday, but they want to be the man.
Hmm.
Okay, they
Mhm.
want to be the man. Okay, but it takes a whole. You got to do a whole lot to be the man.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, and that's a tough call.
Yeah.
That is a tough call. Okay, we look at Patrick Mahomes. What does he do every year? No matter what, no matter what they have there, what does he do? He performs.
Mhm.
He
He's
does.
the he would be considered the constant
He
there,
is the
right?
constant.
Just like Brady was the constant
Yes,
with the Patriots, right?
he's the constant. Okay, the guys that leave, they get the ring and they said, "Oh, I got my ring. Now I can go.
Mm,
I'm gonna go somewhere else." But you don't hear from them no more.
no.
Okay, it's just like the guy that he used to throw to went to Florida because he felt when your ego gets involved in a situation in professional stuff, and you got to watch out for yourself. But when the ego gets involved, well, guess what happens?
But is this a truth about you have to have an ego, but how do you not let the ego control you to the point that it makes it counterproductive? But you have to have a confidence. So what's the difference between confidence and ego, for example?
Okay,
Does Patrick Mahomes have a big ego, or does he
now
have the
he has
confidence?
confidence, but he doesn't have a big ego. Okay, if he does, he doesn't display it.
Yeah, okay, I would agree
Okay,
with
okay.
that.
You're talking about ego. When you worked with me for 30 years, what was my ego like?
Well, that's what I always look to and admire is your ability to do all the things you did educationally and not really talk about, oh, look at me, look what I did, this is about me. It was never about you. It was really about the program and in turn the students within the program. It always led back to that, as opposed to a lot of the teachers and educators that we worked with and crossed paths with. It was really always came back to them. Look at me. This is about me, and the students came second. And so that was always something that I was mindful of or looked at and tried to say, I want it to be about the students, not about me.
Well, in everything that we did was about the students. Like I explained to you, we're talking about. Let's see, the one time that I became teacher of the year, I had been with the department almost 30 years,
Right.
and and the principal said, "Oh, you've never been teacher of the year." And I said, "No, I never have." And I said, I don't do this thing for that kind of award. I don't do that because everybody it's just like when the one teacher came up to me and we were at the Christmas thing and he says, "You trained me and I'm teacher of the year
Right.
and you've never been teacher of the year."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "No, no, I've never been teacher of the year." And then when he gave it when he did give it to me, I tore it up, and put it in the trash
Mm-hmm.
because it didn't mean anything.
Didn't have any meaning. Right.
Okay, the thing that meant something to me was that I got paid once a month.
Mm.
Okay, and that was important to me because I could take care of my family.
Yeah.
But the main thing was that we were dealing with young people, and we were giving them a platform to make an adjustment in their lives. And what also is that by not having an ego, you don't class with students. You see, because it was never about I had to be the right guy. I had to be right all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I had enough humility to understand that I'm not right all the time, and I have to be able to say, you know what, I think you're right. I think okay, I think your way of thinking at this particular time about this situation may be the best way to go. Okay.
Well, I think that's what you would try to do as an educator, or you should try to do, is you empower the student to see their become their own best advocate,
Right.
and then as the teacher, the educational leader, the classroom, you know, person that's in charge, so to speak, uh, allows that and guides that,
Right.
and that's when you really have provided an education that prepares that student to go forward in life. and be able to make those good decisions and be an advocate for themselves.
Because I always thought about being fair, honest, and consistent. And as long as I felt I was doing that, then that means that I was able to keep an even platform in the classroom. And and the one thing that we never did do is we never had classroom pets or favorites.
Right.
Right. And everybody was important. Okay.
Do you think our students saw that?
Oh yeah, they saw it. Okay. Because everybody was treated the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what they were not supposed to be able to not do, and they knew what they could get away with and stuff like that. But they always knew that if they asked us a question, they'd get an honest answer about what it is that they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we didn't do. What the thing that was important is that we treated everybody the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Well, we're about done wrapping up here, but I was wondering about our next topic, and maybe we could continue the conversation about how we set up our classroom uh, and set it up so that the students could see what was the best situation for them, utilize that, and get the growth that they wanted.
Okay, I
So,
think that's a good idea.
so I would just remind everybody to subscribe if this is of interest to you, and that way we can keep you updated on our future podcast. And as usual, it was a pleasure, Mr. Steele. And
Hey, Mr. Kunrat,
you look good in that shirt, my
hey,
friend.
you look good in that shirt too, my
All right,
friend.
brother.
Okay, it was a Christmas present from my daughters.
That's beautiful.
Yes,
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
No problem.
All right, my friend. Those of you that are out there listening, subscribe to our page so that you can get the notifications of when we're going to record again.